Hey everyone, welcome back to Spinach Salad. I'm Sal, and today I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to create the best games in Game Boy Garage. In order to do that, I'm going to give a tiny little showcase of this game by Waddle called Super Mario 3D Land World 4-3. Okay, to start off the game here, you can see that Waddle Dee's included the instructions on how to play. The left stick is move, A and B is jump, if you hold the Y button you run, and once you get a super leaf, you become a Tanuki person and you can use the X button to whip the tail. So let's go get that. Great, and now I know that I can press the X button and I can attack. It's very important to include the instructions in your game so players know how to play your game, because otherwise there may be a certain button, like one of the back buttons, that does something miscellaneous that they're not expecting, and they have to go into the coding to figure out. And let me tell you, most people are not going to go into the coding to figure out that you included a touch sensor or a hand node on. They're just going to be confused and give up. So please include instructions in your games. It will always receive bonus points from me. The second tip I have for creating the best games in Game Boy Garage may be slightly more important than the first one. I don't know, it depends on who you are. Please include checkpoints in your games. I've played many incredible games where I've gotten to the end, I've died to the boss, and then I had to play another 2 to 5 minutes to get to the boss again, die again, and eventually, like after an hour, I give up. So you don't have to make it all fancy like Waddle Dee did. Waddle Dee made it so if you go through the checkpoint changes, and if you die, you respawn there, obviously, because it's a checkpoint. It's not too hard, not too difficult to create a checkpoint. There are a million tutorials out there on how to do it. Please put checkpoints in your games, especially if you're creating a hard game or a long game. And now I'm going to give a couple bonus tips with a couple other games, because those two things are really the only things you need to keep in mind when creating your game. Please include checkpoints and please include instructions. So here's a bonus thing right here. We have an amazing little game by IB9298. They created this cute little game. You break the boxes, and then you win the game once you break all the boxes. This game only takes 59 nodons. Don't mind the connections, because I've only seen that maxed out twice. 59 nodons, which is fine. 59 nodons can create a great game like this. I've seen great games where it took like 13 nodons or something. I forgot which game I'm thinking of, but it can be done. But there's a million ways that you could improve this game. You could add custom music. There's music already, which is great. Some games don't have music. You could add textures. IB could have added textures to the land here, could have added some decorations, could have added a bunch of things. They didn't, because this was like a day one thing and they like just bought the game and just made this, which is perfectly fine. But if you want to bring your game up a notch, you don't need to do it, but adding custom textures and music and decorations will always bring your game up. It'll bring your game up to an 11. Not gonna lie, I've spent the past 6 minutes trying to find a good thumbnail, because usually people don't include thumbnails. Usually they just like finish their game and upload it and everything's fine. Or if it's a title screen, it's already a thumbnail basically. So I just found this one somewhere. But you do have to play this game, by the way. Bonus thing, play this game by Kyabetsu and play all of Kyabetsu's games, because he's incredible. He or she is an incredible creator. Bonus tip number 2, create a thumbnail. Thumbnails will catch people's attention, especially if they go to your program or shared games, and they will be more likely to click on your game and play it, and plus the aesthetic is very nice. So if you want to have a bonus thing right here, create a thumbnail. There are multiple tutorials of how to do this on YouTube, so just go look that up. It's pretty simple to do. I've seen it before. So if you check that out, shouldn't be a problem to, again, bring your game up to an 11. My final tip of this video, tip number 5, bonus tip number 3, is to have organized code. It can be very difficult to have organized code, especially if you're using the entire programming screen and everything. But if you do have a couple nodons to spare, again, leftover nodons, you can organize your code a little bit using wormholes and comments. Here's a game by Jeff. Jeff created the arcade. I'm sure you know what that is by now. Here's a comment on where the rollovers are for this little pinball machine he made, and he uses multiple wormholes throughout this coding. So even though it's a little messy here, you do have multiple wormholes and you do have multiple comments to keep it a little bit more organized, a little bit more navigatable, because unless you're maxing out the connections or the node-ons, it's always nice to have a cleaner look. I've seen some super clean games with super clean coding. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but they do exist, and I always appreciate that because it's very, very nice to see. And if people want to go into your game and edit it or play around with it to create their own game out of what you've created and use your creation as a basis, it makes it easier for them. So, I mean, the only thing they have to do is read the code, but it's even easier to read code if it's clean and simple to understand. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.